Ciao, everyone. This is Esther.
Alfredo sauce on a beautiful day in Sicily today, Esther.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're going
Like
to show you
springtime.
the scene right in front of our deck over here in just a little bit. We're also going to talk about the difference between Baccala and Stoko and so much more. But first, should we talk
We have
about
so
the
much to
great
talk about today. It's
find
unbelievable. Look at this. Look at this.
cavifiore. Look how big it
Purple
is.
cauliflower. In the wintertime, it's my savior, Esther. It's just loaded with vitamin C, and she knows how to make it great. How do you do it? You simply boil it, and then you take the broth, and you put the broth.
EVOO.
And then I just like a little bit of EVOO, and I like a little bit of pepper, maybe sometimes cheese, but not so often. But the broth is like liquid penicillin.
Yeah, and
That
the other
is
way I make it is
good, yeah.
just roasted in the oven. So simple, so good for you. And it's a great little vegetable that is only during the winter time. So around March and April, it'll be
How
gone.
much did that cost us?
That costs about $5. It'll
Costs
last
$5
us about 6 meals.
Can you believe that?
All right, look at this.
You know what that
This
is?
is called Chimidirapi.
What is it?
Broccoli rabi. Chimidirapi.
Yeah.
And I make it the same way. Boil it.
Same way.
So good.
Put that in a sausage sandwich is great. Or even with a, as they say around here, a hamburger. A hamburger.
A
is good.
hamburger, wow.
You eliminate all the
Also,
other
the meat
crap.
pie.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to put ketchup, relish, or mustard on it.
Also, the meat pie, either put the broccoli rabi or the cauliflower into a pie. It's delicious. It's a very traditional food here during the winter. Comfort foods.
Could I say one thing? I want to correct it. This goes out to my brother Tom, okay? Scacciata, okay? See, you guys in the States only have, I think, one type of thing that you call scacciata, and that's with the pork.
Meat pie.
A meat pie, right? Over here, the word scacciata, that's a generic word. That means basically something that you have dough on the outside and something on the inside. Of course, we have the pork, like you guys, but I think the more popular one for Sicilian folks
For
are
sure.
the vegetable ones.
So, for instance,
Broccoli and cheese.
broccoli, right? I also make the spinach one. You can use the chimidirapi, the broccoli rabi, but they make it all types. Also with the cauliflower, believe it or not, you steam it first and put the dough and put the cauliflower
Yeah.
along with the olives, the cheese, the tomato paste, and so forth. Not tomato paste, tomato sauce. So, that's
So when
a
you
really
guys
good
come
thing.
running here to run into the bakery to get a scacciata, just double check. Make sure if you want the meat one, sometimes they don't have that for lunchtime. Usually that's one of those things that they have later on. But double check what the ingredient is in there, or you may be disappointed because you're actually eating something healthy for a change.
All right, so we went to the market to pick up these vegetables, and the guy was so cute. He was arranging the storefront so it looked good for us. Take a look. Look at these purple cauliflowers. They're ginormous. Look at this. Ginormous. Look at these beautiful zucchini flowers. Fiore de zucchine. Bellissima, sì, una.
Aspetta.
Così più bello.
Lo tagliamo?
Sì. Look how big that guy is.
Camillo!
So the other thing that happened this week is that I made the Baccala, and guess what? I'm going to have a video for you step by step on how to do it. But first, the difference between Baccala and Stoko. So Baccala is sotto sale, under salt, and it's salted. I think it has to have an 18% salt or something like that. And then what you do is, well, wait. Let's go to the market, take a look at what the guy said on how to desalt it. So here's what the Baccala looks like, the supermarket. Anche c'è Stokko? Here's the Stokko.
Stocco no, liscio.
It's dried. A Baccala is with the salt. Bakala è sotto sale. Ancora?
Arriva secco sotto sale e poi noi lo mettiamo a mollo in acqua.
Per 2
Cambiamo
giorni.
l'acqua una volta al giorno, 3-4 giorni di fila.
3-4 days he
E poi è
changes the water around. So there you go. All right, the other one is Stokko, right, Alfred? And the difference between Bakala and Stoko, one of them is salted, the other one is dried with the sun and the wind and can last for years, right?
Correct. Both are high sources of protein. Very interestingly enough, I did a little bit of research on Baccala and Stoko. When the French got here back in the 16th century, and whenever it is they came over the mouth of the St. Lawrence River, they were surprised to find
St. Lawrence?
Yeah, up in New York State, the St. Lawrence River. They were surprised to find so many Spanish fishermen there fishing for cod. Come to find out that the cod, the North Atlantic cod, was being brought back to Spain and France and Scotland, and then finally worked its way over to the Italian peninsula. But that's been a staple, a staple.
Also
cod.
very popular in Iceland and Norway. And
Correct.
the Bakala and the Stoko that we get here in Sicily is always from Norway.
Right.
So
From here
is,
it's from
by the way,
Norway.
the salmon. Very popular. And one of the reasons is not only is it healthy, but it lasts a long time, right? So you didn't have to refrigerate the fish. You could just keep it outside for a long, long time. But the way we do the Bakala here, of course, we go to the market and they have it already desalted. And you heard him that it takes about 3 days to desalt the Bakala. And believe it or not, it doesn't have a salty taste at all.
Zero salty
very
taste.
flaky and a little bit sweet. Very surprising. And the way I cook it, I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview, is I cook it in a red sauce with capers, celery, olives.
It's delicious.
And what else? Onions, garlic, and a few other
Raisins.
ingredients.
You put raisins
Raisins
in?
and pine nuts. Yeah, what do you guys do?
Yeah,
do you
it's
guys
great.
make the Bakala?
It's great.
Let me know. Before he cut up these pieces of Bakala, I'm going to add some fresh parsley. Here it's cooking nicely. Almost ready to add them. Then you can garnish it with a little fresh parsley. Also some olive oil, of course. And there you go.
Great.
Bakala.
You know, I'd be remiss to not only point out that Newfoundland, which is off the coast, way up top, which is a great fishing area, and for those in New England, you benefit from up there eating their cod all the time. I think sometimes you call it, baked. You call it shrod.
Shrod, yes.
Specialty catch royalty of the day. That's what it stands for, shrod. Okay, but it could be basically any flaky white fish. But people up there, that's one of their staples. When that also comes over here as well. Delicious.
Now, the other thing, with the Bakala, it's available starting around November, and then around March, April, it won't be as predominantly available. But it's very much of a Christmas meal as well, or New Year's Eve, or during one of the, holidays in December. There are plenty.
Let me tell you another one, too.
So wait a sec. So the cod, too, is very merluzzo. It's called merluzzo. Cod is merluzzo. So not only is it popular here as a Baccala or Stokko, but also merluzzo is a very popular Sicilian fish. You can have it fresh or frozen, and it's made in many ways, but I prefer the messinese, the Messina style, which, as I mentioned, the olives, the capers, the celery, and so forth. So those are very popular fish here in Sicily.
I don't want to brag about Esther, but I'm going to brag. She makes it just like my mom and my grandmother does. There's no difference. And for me, when I don't eat meat on Fridays, for me, it's a great meatless Friday type of a thing. And I really appreciate that she took the time to learn how to make it.
And you guys, this one doesn't like fish. He had 2 bowls. So I'm pretty proud of it.
It was terrific.
So stay tuned for a video on that.
Let me tell you something else too. I want to talk about another thing that's put in sauce that is called tripe. Okay, it's kind of funny about tripe. Tripe is made from the intestines of a cow. Usually it's a cow. Usually it's the beef. A cow has 2 intestines because they turn it up there. and it's a terrific source of protein. From what I found out, it's healthy. It's got good
Do you
bacteria.
like tripe?
I hate tripe. My brother Tommy and my father.
What about you guys?
They
Do you
used to
like tripe?
inhale that stuff, but it's
How did
not
your
just.
mom
wait a
make
minute.
it? How'd your
Hold
mom make it?
It's not just an Italian thing. I always thought it was a Neapolitan or a Roman thing, but boy, I was wrong in my research. The French, the Spanish, the Portuguese,
Very popular here in Sicily.
the Tunisians, the Brazilians, the Caribbean, people in Caribbean, everybody eats tripe in one way or another. Now, here in Italy, primarily, it's beef, as I said, but it
In
could
sauce.
be sheep. It could be the intestines of pork. All right. As a matter of fact, in my research, I found out that favorite sausage that you buy in the marketto, one of the ingredients is the intestine
Ugh.
of the pig.
Ugh.
I didn't know that, but I like it.
Do
with
we
the-
want to hear that?
I like it. I
We have
like it.
sausage.
And I have to say something else too about that. My brother Tommy, and I don't want to brag about the kid loves it, but my own man used to really love it.
How did your mom make it?
It looked like Stokko, except it didn't have cod in it. It had.
Yeah, it's very popular in the supermarkets
Now-
as a takeaway food for sure.
I remember when I went to Rome. My first trip, one of my first trips to Rome was with my cousin, Dr. Tom and Mary Ann, and the guy was Jones and really bad for tripe, right? So we went on a Tuesday. We went to I don't know how many restaurants. He said, I can't believe there's no tripe. And the reason there was no tripe on a Tuesday is because in Rome, you see, they kill all the cattle on Wednesdays and deliver it to the
That's a good
market
story, Al.
on Thursdays. So Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is where the tripe is like loaded up in all the restaurants. If you go to a restaurant on a Monday and order tripe, and a guy gives you a bowl of tripe in Rome on a Monday, just so you know, that's been sitting around some refrigerator for 4 days.
Well, isn't that the case with most foods?
Don't
though?
eat it. Don't eat it. But people love it.
All right. I
want
want to know if you guys enjoyed our last video on hidden gems, not so hidden, but gems that we talked about. I want to know if you want to see part 2, because we're thinking of doing a part 2 of that. Now,
There's so
next,
many.
can we just show you what we found? This scene is just priceless, only in Sicily. Take a look. Well, look at these little guys hanging out on our front deck. Want to name them, Alfred?
I like the one on the left, the one that's black and white. That guy over there.
Right under
He's
the
gonna
olive
look
tree.
mighty fine on my dinner table once he
Stop it.
fattens up a bit.
Stop it. Buonasera.
You know
We haven't
what they're
seen these
doing?
guys here in a while.
Seriously, they've been renting out the goats to the farmers to eat to cut down on wildfires.
Yeah, that was a big problem last summer.
Right. Look at that guy on top of the woodpile.
What a beautiful evening it
Great
is.
colors too. Look at that guy. He's eating the lemon tree.
Where's the
horse?
horsey? Usually there's a horse as well.
No horses right now.
No horses right now.
Wow, what beautiful colors.
So there you go. Little peek here. I'm going to show them our deck over here. You guys probably didn't see these. Made out of ceramics. This one is a Greek coin made by my girlfriend Vanessa's father. Here's a Greek battle scene. And here's the scene on our deck. That is such a priceless scene. I mean, Alfred was out here because he does his walk around the deck. He does circles around the table that we're filming at. He goes, Esther, get over here. Bring your camera. I was like, oh, this is so priceless. They come up here every once in a while. Only in Sicily.
Today, gone tomorrow, because by the fall time they'll be nice and fat, and they'll
Well-
use their milk, and they make ricotta, and what else do they do?
Ricotta, definitely.
They
Hey,
make
we went
ricotta,
to
and then they make lamb chops. Yummy, yum, yum.
Listen, we went to a sheep farm in Salemi over there in the province of Trapani. It was so cool, and it was the first time that I had ricotta warm. So the way they served
Delicious.
it, they had a bowl, and you have a piece of bread, a glass of red wine, and boy, That was cool. And we also learned how to make ricotta because it's several steps that you have to do. And, there's several products that come from the sheep's milk, tuma.
E qual è l'insandwichato? This is a full cold beef.
And is pepper in it?
That has black pepper in it.
Ricotta from pecore. Very popular here in
You
Sicily.
will not find ricotta in the month of August unless it's commercial grade.
Or from cow.
Or from a cow, right. You're not going to find ricotta from sheep here in August because it's too hot. As a matter of fact, you probably won't even find lamb, like lamb chops or something like that in the restaurants, because those guys are fattening up.
Winter.
Yeah, they're
winter
fattening up.
foods.
It's a winter food,
And also
usually by
with
about
Baccala.
September, October.
Also with the Bakala
Yeah,
and the
Baccala
Stoko.
too, yeah.
And, the foods here are very seasonal, which makes it so much fun.
I'm telling you, I couldn't stand back home broccoli. It just tasted like crap. I mean, I got out of eating it, right?
Well, all
And
fruits
over
and
here-
vegetables is just different.
Over here, they're an explosion of flavors. And just doing the research, I found out that the broccoli and the you see that
Cauliflower.
purple thing, that thing over there, it's just loaded with all these nutrients and antioxidants.
Can I tell
and
you
all this
guys
other
something
stuff. I
that
never
was
knew that.
very profound for me my first year in Sicily that I will never forget? Every food that I ate, whether it's fruits, vegetables, or the chicken even, or the gelato, the granita, everything was so accentuated. Everything was brighter, sweeter, saltier, tasted more like fruit. I remember having strawberry for the first time and thinking, oh my God, Alfred, this tastes like strawberry candy. It actually tastes like strawberry. I was very, very struck by how the flavors here are so profound. But I have to tell you, one part of the reason is because of the Etna. Its ashes act as a fertilizer, and it really accentuates the flavors of the fruits, the vegetables, and even the wines, the olive oils, and the sheep, the cheeses. So it's very, very interesting when you come here and have foods that you may, say so-so in the United States. Here, they're bursting with flavor. Even this Chimidirapi, it is strong flavor. Sweet,
Thank
but
you,
strong
Esther
flavor.
Vita, spokesman for the I Love Sicily fan club. Wow, that's a pretty good commercial. You ought to cut that
So
out.
look at this. Francesco, our neighbors here. You guys have missed him. We used to have him on our live all the time. Salute.
Ciao, good morning. This is my friends. This is very good.
We love him. Francesco, la formaggio ottimo. E mortadella,
Buono.
prosciutto, buono. Remember, he gave us that big gift of prosciutto and all that. Buonissimo. Grazie. E che sta facendo oggi?
Oggi faccio polish perché in terrazza.
Ah, pulire?
Pulire il terrazzo perché è
He's
sporco.
gonna be cleaning the terrace because it's dirty. Okay. Grazie mille. Buona giornata. Can you tip your hat? You, Me, and Sicily merch. We've got plenty of hats, long sleeve t-shirts, women's beautiful V-necks. What else?
Here's the thing, Bunster. Right now, we're having a huge clearance sale. Okay, we have 151 pieces left. We had 800. We have mixed sizes, different lots, okay? $17 each, including shipping. You're going to save $4 or $5 in the case of one of the items, or two of the items, even more. We'll be getting new stock in probably the end of the spring, but
We're having great reviews about all of
the
these.
stuff, you see
so
this hat? This is embroidered. This isn't in cheap silk screen stuff. We have good
Very
stuff.
nice.
They run true to size. And this is what you need to do. You need to contact Esther, either through our website or message her or else on Facebook, and she can advise you as to exactly what sizes we have. But I'm telling you one thing. 2 or 3 weeks, they're all going to be gone. $17, including
Great deal.
shipping. Okay? Jump on it.
You want to know why I'm holding this bottle up? Not only is it beautiful, Bella Palermo, salsa pronte de pomodoro datterino. It's a type of tomato here. This is really good. It's a ready-made sauce and it's ready to use. Bottle is beautiful. But the reason I'm holding this up is because recently we had some people asking about importing products like this to the United States or Canada, and who's better to answer that than Mr. Sicily over here?
Well, thank you, Esther. Expect a little something extra in your
How's
paycheck
that
this
for an
week.
introduction? No, but seriously, look at this bottle. It has beautiful scenes of Palermo over here. Can you see it? 330 grams. Very good.
You know,
And it's made in Palermo.
listen, here's what I say about Sicilians trying to export, except those who get it, so to speak, okay? It's like a famous painter. Who's a famous painter that you know?
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. Painting the Mona Lisa, is that what he painted?
Mm-hmm.
And putting it in a closet, all right? They haven't a clue, generally speaking, about marketing stuff. And I'm talking about small regional producers. I'm talking about
But I think this
artisans.
person...
They haven't a clue.
But I
okay?
think this person wanted to know about importing from Sicily to the United States because he has a store.
Okay. It depends on the product. That's number one, okay? If it's food products, you have to have a whole bunch of requirements from the label on down, from the ingredients to label and so forth. That's number one. It's got to be in English, although you can get what they call a small business exemption for the first 100,000 units. But generally speaking, you need to have your product, and this is if you want to sell it in supermarkets, okay? It has to be in English, and it has to be legible, and it has to be so that, you know, Mary Smith from Duluth, Minnesota can understand what the hell she's buying, all right? That's number one. I think the most important person that you need to have is somebody here on the ground to make sure that what you buy and what they ship is one and the same. That's what Massimo and I do. I think you need a freight forwarder. A freight forwarder is the company that picks up the products here, puts them on the boat, has a boat transported to the United States where it's unloaded. Now, right now, that's a problem.
Huge problem.
Okay? So things are getting delayed. Okay? So if you're going to do
And the
that...
COVID, because of COVID, there's extra checks, extra steps that are being implemented. Very different situation than it was 2 years ago.
If you decide to go with air freight, it's far more expensive. But on the other side of the story, if you have small products that are kind of pricey, you might be able to amortize it far better than something big and bulky, say, for example, like pasta. In pasta, it'll cost you more to, or water. It'll cost you more to ship it than buying the product here. There are many ways to do it. Now, once you get the product in the United States, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to sell it at your shop, or are you going to distribute it? There's a bunch of different things to do that. If you're going to distribute a product, then you have to go to a food show. For example, the fancy food show. In other
New York
words,
City.
in New York City, they have them also in Frisco. They used to have them in Chicago with the COVID. Who the heck knows where they're going to have them. But you need to have somebody distributing the products. If you go to a distributor, all right, they'll take a chunk of your hard work and they'll, you know, take a good chunk. Yeah, take a cut. What people usually do is they go to food shows, and then they'll go up and they'll say to different people, different supermarkets, if I can get 20 people interested, would you be interested in this product? And then what happens is, if they say, yeah, I would be interested, because you don't want to just get one client. So what you do, you go to these food shows and you try to get 20 clients. And basically that's how you do it. It takes a lot of time, effort, and money. So I would say...
But it's doable.
I would say in this environment right now, don't do it.
Okay, there you
I mean,
have
just
it.
my own opinion.
All
okay?
right.
Yes, sir. I always get emails from single women, okay, asking about it being dangerous to travel as a single traveler.
Yeah.
To Sicily.
Yeah,
we recently
had a couple women say they're planning on coming here, and is it dangerous as single females to travel here in Italy and to Sicily? And I always say the same exact thing: use the brain. use common sense. Obviously, some areas are more dangerous as others, but that's the same in every big city. You go to New York, there are certain sections that are more dangerous than others. Same in Boston, same in Chicago, same in every single city. So I always tell people, first of all, make sure that this is not only for women, but also for men. Make sure that your jewelry is hidden, especially in the big cities. You make sure that your purse is near you, both hands on them, especially in the big city. But it is not necessarily more dangerous than other places to travel here in Sicily and Italy. And always, public transportation is safe. Stuff happens. Robberies do happen. Assaults do happen. You just have to use your brain. Now, you had a situation where someone was coming in. You were driving down through Catania, and they were holding their purse in the front seat, and a biker went by and snatched it right through the window. So you just, keep your purse down, keep your goods down, and use common sense.
When you talk about, I'm not a woman, obviously, but when you talk about single women travelers, there's a few people I think about. The first one I think about is our friend Carolyn from Fontana, California. I think that's where she's from. She always comes on our trips with us, but she always extends her tour an extra couple of weeks. But
she does, Al.
She does it by herself.
No, she does it with tours with us. Who I'm thinking about is Denise De Dolce and also Jody DeLuca that have traveled on their own around the island. It is doable. They do have a car. But also there's a bunch of women, single women in the province of Palermo from the United States who live there and do it on their own. Also a friend, Jerry. So it is doable.
Listen, we've had so many single women travelers. I'll never forget, and I'm not going to mention their name, the two gals from Australia. They came here.
Oh, yeah.
They came here to get their groove on. let me tell you, right? And those two women, they got their groove on for like 3 weeks. It was just unbelievable.
And the thing with one of those ladies that she ended up staying for a month, and I did an entire itinerary for her, and she went to all different places, and she hopefully will come back. But she did it on her own. She rented a car, went from place to place. So it is doable. Come to Sicily. We need you to come to Sicily. Let me tell you that the restaurants, the hotels are hurting. They're on their knees, especially because of the new COVID laws and rules that have gone into effect. You need vaccination to go and do anything social and cultural. And as you know, if you're coming from the United States, Canada, or any other country, Australia, where many of our viewers are, you will need to get vaccinated. So why don't you come to Sicily?
I guess I could sum it up into 3 words. Use your head. Okay?
Number 1, number 2, and number 3
Use your head. That's all you have to do is use your head. So that answers that question. Good job. What I'm worried about. There's a few things I am worried about. Looking and reading the newspapers, you see the shortages that are happening in the United States, or at least I think they're happening. Some people say they're fake news, but most of the places, there's a lot of reasons why you have them too, obviously, between the winter weather, the COVID, trucks, this, that, bop, bop, boop, boop. We haven't seen that.
No, that's a good point.
There is no point. The shelves are plentiful and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, that said...
That's true, Al.
No, let me tell you something. That said, I have my eyeballs to the north, to Russia. Because right now, Russia looks like it may be doing something of an aggressive nature with the Ukraine, okay? Now, the United States has got to be careful, but Italy has to be more careful for 2 reasons. Number 1, they're part of NATO, okay? Which means that if there is aggression, Italian forces may be brought into some type of a regional conflict. And number 2, Russia supplies us, along with Libya and Tunisia,
fuel,
okay, our natural gas that we use to heat. Okay, so that issue, I'm telling you right now, I don't know if I'm preoccupied by it, but I'm kind of preoccupied.
Well, and they're already, warning that there's going to be increases in the cost of all fuel, electricity, and so forth, 50% increase. And
You
with
know-
this, it could get even worse.
This isn't really, and I just want to just say one thing about this thing. You ought to learn about it, by the way, because there are two sides to every story, all right? Yes,
Three sides.
There are three sides.
His side, her side, and the truth.
Probably right. But, I mean, imagine if there were Russian troops at the Mexican border, or there were Russian troops in Cuba or Venezuela, for example. How do you think the United States would react? They'd go berserk, and they would threaten aggression if they, weren't immediately taken out. Look at what happened during the Kennedy administration. Okay.
But we don't want to do all politics.
No,
on
I'm not
this
doing
show.
any politics, but here Russia allegedly has a historical claim to the Crimea and some of these other areas, and Putin has been saying, hey, look, you guys are right next door to us. Let's get all the aggressiveness, the aggressive troops from the Ukraine out, because they're right at our border. So, right now I'm kind of torn. I've been researching it, but all I know is our gas prices are
keeping
going up for how much?
An eye on it.
How much is it going up, our gas, natural gas?
Right, 50%.
50%.
All right, let's
Ooh.
move on. All right, we're very excited to tell you guys that we still have some spots open in our May tour of the East Coast of Sicily, May 11th to 21. It's going to be great, fun-filled, and of course, food-filled and wine-filled tour. We're going to go, of course, to Catania, to Taormina, to Syracuse and Ortigia, Etna Towns, Etna Vineyards. And the highlight, Noto, and the Infiorata, the flower festival, fresh flower beds, beautiful, always an attraction.
I think we have 4 spots left as we're making this little spot right now. So basically, it'll be first come, first serve. But if we're sold out, we also have a June tour as well to the West Coast. So check our website, www.youmeandsicily.com, for the latest info. And we appreciate it. Grazie.